Okay, and we're back with the second chapter 6 of It's the First Day of School Forever. Some kids screamed. Shelley ran down the hallway, shouting Brick's name. A big crowd of kids huddled around him on the floor. He sat up quickly, rubbing the back of his head. His eyes rolled around crazily and then settled down. He blinked several times and then looked in my direction. "Who threw that ball?" he asked. He sounded groggy. He rubbed his head. I hadn't moved. I stood frozen in disbelief. "I threw the ball," Shelley said, "but that new kid hit it. He made it change directions." Brick squinted at me. "Aren't you the kid who stomped on my foot?" "Accident," I choked out. "It was all an accident." Two guys helped Brick to his feet. He seemed dazed, but okay. Mr. Jenks came rushing down the hall, his torn jacket flapping as he ran. "What's going on?" he demanded. "Why aren't you in class?" Brick pointed at me. "That new kid hit me with a baseball," he said. "Nearly knocked me out." Jenks turned to me. Again, his smile had vanished. "You're having a bad morning, Artie," he said. "First your dog might have given me rabies, and now you knock Brick to the floor." "Accidents," I said. My voice cracked. My knees suddenly felt shaky. "Accident, really?" "Brick, go to the nurse. Let her check you out," Jenks said. And then he turned back to me and lowered his voice. "Sometimes I take the law into my own hands, Artie," he whispered. Again, I knew I hadn't heard right. He couldn't have said that to me, could he? "I'm the law around these parts," Jenks whispered. Again, I smelt peppermint on his hot breath as it brushed my ear. "Don't fight the law. The law always wins." Okay, I said. I have to get out of here, I thought. This is going to be the worst day of my life, and I'm not even in class yet. Jenks patted my shoulder. He flashed me a warm smile. "Go get him, Otter," he said. "Huh? Otter?" Then I glimpsed at the big glassy display case across from us. It was filled with silver sports trophies. A red and blue sign above the case read, "Go Otters." Okay, all right, go Otters. Go Artie, I thought. I can't change this day. I know I can. I can really change it. I'm not going to let anything else happen from my dream. I read the class sheet. I was in room 307, Miss McVee's class. I remembered the trouble that I had in my dream, how I couldn't find the room, how I ended up in the wrong class sitting in Brick's seat. Not today, I vowed. From now on, I will change everything. I saw Shelley across the hall and I walked over to her. She studied me with those big, bright, gray-green eyes. I guessed that she was trying to decide whether or not to be nice to me. "What happened to your hair?" she asked. "It was a syrup accident," I said. I rolled my eyes. "I have a little brother." "Me too," she said. She had a nice laugh. "This is my first day at Aardvark," I said. "I'm in your class. Can I walk with you?" "No worries," she said. She tossed her long hair over her shoulder. "This school is crazy. I'll show you where the room is." Her backpack was on the floor at her feet. "I'll get it," I said. We both bent over for it at the same time and cracked heads. "Ow!" We both let out yelps of pain. I grabbed my head. I felt like it was about to split open. When I could focus my eyes again, Shelley was waving me away. "Why don't you just go on ahead?" she said. "I think it'll be safer." But I started to protest. I really wanted to stay with her. She could easily lead me to the right room. But I saw a red bump on her forehead, and it was swelling up fast like a balloon inflating. I decided it would be better to listen to her and scram. So I started to wander down the long hall. The room numbers were all tiny and etched into the wooden doors. They were very hard to read. Everyone was already in class. The halls were empty. No one to ask for help. The room numbers didn't make any sense at all. I knew it was room 107, and it should be on the 3rd floor. But the 200 rooms were all mixed together with the 300 rooms. My footsteps echoed on the tile walls. I thought that I heard a kid crying. I stopped to listen. Yeah, I heard soft sobs. And then there were more sobs and cries. It sounded like a whole classroom of kids, all wailing and sobbing. My breath caught in my throat. I stopped outside a door to listen. Why were they all crying so hard? I'd never heard so many people crying at the same time. It sounded a little like a baby nursery. Only the voices were older and not babies. I froze and I listened through the closed wooden door. I knew something horrible must have happened. Finally, I couldn't hold myself back. The sobs were just too frightening and sad. I grabbed the brass doorknob with a trembling hand and I turned open the door. I peered into the room and I gasped in shock. And that's where the chapter ends.